Hello dear friends, even though this is not a dedicated tech channel, I took the opportunity and going to the Sony store in Beijing, where we already have available the Xperia 1 Mark III, and give you a little hands-on. Let's start maybe with the available colors that are here. So on the left side we have the dark purple, here we have the gray silver and the black. All colors are frosted. I think basically the colors maybe on last year's devices looked a bit nicer, although the frosted look is very good and you cannot see any fingerprints on it. So here also in my hand I have the silver device, and of course one of the big changes compared to the previous model is the display. So it's still 4K 21:9 aspect ratio, but this time we have the 120 Hz rate, and this is clearly an improvement. The display looks really nice, although colors and resolution haven't really changed from the last model, but combining everything with the also touch rate of 240 Hz, it's a very nice option and very good display overall. So here we see the back of this matte silver. The camera module got a little bit bigger. Otherwise it's not a really spectacular color, but it feels really solid, also due to the increased weight compared to the Xperia 1 and Xperia 1 Mark II. It feels a little bit more premium just because it's heavier, supposedly mainly due to the bigger battery. Otherwise, user interface is pretty much unchanged. Now we only have one camera app. The basic camera is also included here, and then of course we have the Cinema Pro app, as we know since 2 years. And then if we open the camera app, basically this is the standard setting. We can just jump around the lenses, and what is really one great point, that now the focusing of the telephoto lenses is just so much better compared to the previous generations, which really had problems in focusing on the telephoto lens. And as we know, also the sensor got considerably bigger, which means that the picture quality is improving. Unfortunately, we are just here inside the store, so we cannot really check on the photo quality, but the usage is smooth and much improved comparing to the older models. And then basically when we switch over to the other modes, then is really the Photo Pro app. As you know, you have all the adjustments here that you can do: manual focus, autofocus, different ISO, aspect ratio, and you can get a lot of information on the picture that you are doing, which is really helpful. And I think the Photo Pro app really is one of the main selling points that we are having here for this device. On the left side you can just switch around the lenses, quite convenient, and I think this is good improvement over the last generation. So we have one photo app, one video app. I think that's much more manageable than in the last generation. What is really a pity in the end, that basically the sensors didn't change, neither for the main camera nor for the ultra-wide camera, and we know that there the competition already has better sensors, bigger sensors especially, that permit for more light and less noise in dark conditions. And also Sony is still sticking to the 12 megapixels, mostly because it enables fast autofocusing. But of course, if you want to see your pictures on a big screen, on a big television, or just print it out and put it in your living room, one camera module with more resolution would have been a great choice, as we see on many of the competitors' phone already. So basically here we can see some pictures that have been taken of this doll and this cat that are turning here. And what we can see, that those new telephoto cameras really give a very nice natural bokeh, and what other reviews have told, that there's the nice sense of depth in the photos. I can 100% confirm this. So these photos really have a very natural feel of a depth and a very good bokeh thanks to their telephoto camera. So of course we cannot make a full camera review here, but the sharpness of the camera seems good, and also the telephoto cameras are really a big jump forward to what we see. And of course here on the turning objects like those moving doll and the cat, of course the eye focus, automatic focus and the tracking are very helpful to achieve good results. So it seems that here on the camera department, especially for telephoto lens and the tracking, Sony is not promising too much, but really delivering good results. The very same goes here for video taken in the Cinema Pro app. Nice depth effect. Here I just used the 70mm lens, so also a good video quality with the telephoto lens, and of course with the main lens anyways. One thing that we do notice after filming here a little bit with the device, that it's getting quite warm. So it seems that similar like other phones with the Snapdragon 888, the devices have the tendency maybe not to overheat, but definitely get warm a little bit. So it remains to be seen how this is in daily usage of the devices. Here on Sony, unfortunately there's no custom photo app anymore. Now finally on this device you cannot get a Sony photo app, so you have to use, even if you don't like it, basically Google photo app, which means that it will upload your photos and keep it in the Google Cloud partially. So there you have to look for apps in the App Store if you don't like the Google solution. I think a phone for over $1,000 and euros definitely should have this feature. So before finishing this video, let's just go back to the Xperia. As I said already, really nice design overall. And considering the button situation, we have on the left upper side, we have the volume rocker, then we have the on-off button with the integrated fingerprint reader that is working okay. Then we have the Google Assistant button, but this one can be remapped to any other application finally. And then we have the dedicated shutter button that has the special embossed finish, which is a nice touch, but of course nothing too dramatic. I think everyone is happy that we have this button here, and that's a nice experience. Then of course we shouldn't forget that it has the special audio capabilities. We have the 3.5mm headphone jack opening here, stereo microphones, also the audio is improved in the Cinema Pro app. It has a special wind cancelling function, and the audio signals in general I think is really industry benchmark with DSSE and the other connection features if you have your wireless or your wired headphones. Unfortunately, the 360 reality audio for the front speakers is only available currently with Tidal, so you need this expensive music streaming service if you really want to make use of this feature. Otherwise it's pretty useless, unfortunately. But let's see, maybe over the next 1 or 2 years it could be that apps like Spotify will also adopt it, as we just saw that Apple Music will also get 360 spatial audio. So one improvement that Sony also emphasized in their unveiling event is that the speakers of the One Mark III are up to 40% louder than the predecessors. So I can confirm that they are definitely louder. They are still more balanced, but they are still lacking bass. So I wouldn't say that those are the best speakers in a smartphone. Basically, when we here still in the internet browser and we are just scrolling along sites, it's really amazing thanks to the 120 Hz. It's a true joy to navigate along websites, and also the colors are very accurate, so the internet browsing experience is great. and it's a great joy. We can also use the split screen mode, as we already know. So I think on this side it's a good phone, also combined with the form factor, 21:9, easy to hold with one hand, so a very good companion overall. Speaking about the display, we have to talk also about the brightness. That has been an issue for the previous devices. So far, what we can see, that the brightness has improved a little bit. Supposedly the maximum brightness is up to 1300 nit. Here in my hand I have the Xperia 1, and if we gear up the brightness of both the devices, then we see that the new one has definitely a better brightness, but is still lagging behind, for example, the iPhone 12 Pro or also other Samsung devices. And then we can also come back to the battery life, which basically will be affected by the 4K 120Hz display. It is not a variable refresh rate, so if you have 120Hz here activated in the settings, it will always stick to 120Hz. This will drain the battery life. Compared to predecessor, yes, battery has improved by 500 milliampere, but I think it will still not be a great battery experience. So if we are considering Xperia 1 and Xperia 1 Mark II, they are doing okay-ish in the battery, and considering the added specs on the battery, but also the added specs on the device and the 5G millimeter wave that we also have in this, and that needs more battery life, I think in the all it will be an acceptable battery. But the big battery champion for sure will be the 5 Mark III, because this one has only a 1080p display but the same big battery. So I think if you're looking for great battery life, then the 5 Mark III will be the better choice. Speaking of the colors, now I hold in my hand here the purple version. On videos and photos it looks slightly more dark bluish than it actually is. So no matter in which angle you hold it, it has a slight purple touch, and by no means you would think that this is a dark blue device, like for example the Pacific blue of the iPhone. It's an interesting color, but I think definitely it will not be for everyone. So here guys, basically we have next to each other the 1 Mark II on the left side and the 1 Mark III on the right side. So the overall dimensions are really exactly the same, just 1 millimeter difference I think. And you can see the camera module is bigger on the 1 Mark III just due to the new telephoto lens, and of course we have the matte frosted finish on all of the devices, which, as you can also see in the comparison, helps a lot concerning the topic of the fingerprints. So here you have both of the devices from the front. The look is actually exactly the same. So to finish off this review, we have to talk about prices. So here in China the price is 8,500 RMB, which converts to around 1,200 euros and even more in US dollars. So the prices have been increased again. The predecessor was priced at 7,999 RMB, so we have nearly, let's say, $80-90 more of price. And for this device, which is just an incremental improve basically to the predecessor, I think that's definitely a too high price tag, because with this price the device has the same pricing like an iPhone 12 Pro Max that of course has Apple's own iOS system and some other advantages. So, and of course it has the image factor that Sony so far doesn't have. And to be honest, also the finish of 12 Pro is simply nicer and a little bit more high quality. Nevertheless, if you don't like an iPhone and you're looking for an excellent, very flexible camera system with the world's first flexible telematic lens, which is truly an innovation, then the Sony device can be for you. I hope that this device has less software bugs than my Xperia 1, and that update support will be good, because if they are selling for really nearly the highest price in the industry, I think they also should deliver an industry-leading experience. So let's see how Sony will take care of this product during the life cycle. So basically, dear friends, this is it with the review, short hands-on, better to say so, from the Xperia 1 Mark III here live from China, where the device is already available since this week. Any questions you can put into the comments. I can answer in German, Spanish or Turkish. Just put your comments below and I will do my best to answer it. Thank you very much.